Alright, Game and Compute, what's going on? I am um working on some uploads right now. I just decided to hit record while I'm just sitting here trying to upload. Everything's going pretty slow. I don't know what is happening, but things are going kind of slow right now. I was wanting to talk about Uber Eats. Now, I did start this commission only job in sales. I want to talk about Uber Eats a little bit while I'm trying to post that other episode about, the beginning of that process of starting. So basically, I, decided I'll keep with Uber Eats. I'm gonna at the least do it when I'm doing errands. So far it's 12:07 p.m. on Thursday, on my Prop 22 Thursday. So this is the earnings day. I don't really think I did any Ubering for a while. Let me see. As far as the earnings that came in today for Prop 22 are $14.27. That's when I'd been online for like 35 minutes without any orders. And before that, let's see. And this today it's April 17th, 2025. I didn't work any other days this week for Uber. And then the whole last week, April 7th through 13th, I didn't do any work. So since my last Prop 22 day, I didn't do any work. And that Prop 22 day was April 3rd, of $63.20. And so, yeah, that was the last day I did. No, I didn't even Uber that day. The last day I Ubered was March 31st of 2025. But then the Prop 22 came in April 3rd of 2025. But it looks like, yeah, the first, second, third, I didn't have any active or online time since the 31st. And so I don't know how I'm getting any Prop 22 pay today on the 17th. Maybe it's because I was logged in for 30 minutes before the payment came in. Because I haven't even worked since a couple days before the last Prop 22 came in. So unless they potentially gave me less on that day, on April, no, March, on the 3rd of April, unless they gave me less than they should have, I basically have not even logged in. I think I just kind of like, for a little blip of time, logged in maybe once, but not really to use it. I've just like clicked the app and logged in once, but I then turned it right off immediately. I might have done that like once, because every now and then I just like to make sure I can just log in and there's no messages that say like, oh, submit your background or something. So when it's like, if I haven't been on there in a while, I don't want to be like, okay, sitting in my car about to start Ubering, turn on the app, and then it's like, oh, you have to submit all this other stuff, or else you can't Uber until it's cleared. Like that, I don't think that's happened before, but it's like I worry that might happen. So I haven't really worked at all on this. I wasn't really feeling well, and then I just this week, because of starting all this other stuff, I've definitely been just like swamped trying to like get through this other onboarding process. I'm gonna keep talking about that commission only work too. But yeah, so somehow I got Prop 22 earnings. My goal today was really just to Uber from about 11 o'clock until maybe 2:30 p.m. and then check to see what I got for Prop 22. I was like, let me log in before the lunch rush and then Uber and then by the end of the afternoon, I would have, some money in from the Prop 22. But I guess I got the Prop 22 earnings before I even got any orders. And I've been online for a long time now. I left the house around 10. I got online around 10:50 a.m., sat in the car with the app on, kind of heated up the car. I guess I actually got on the app when I was just like, getting my bag together. Like I'd already made a sandwich for lunch. I'd already prepped my food and everything. And I was basically just getting my beverages and lunch together and putting it in my bag and getting my planner and waters and stuff and putting it in my backpack, heading out to the car, warming out up the car, all that. I've been online since 10:50 a.m. It's now 12:11 p.m. In the lunchtime portion of the day, and I haven't had one order come in. It says I've been online. Let me see if that's going to be accurate. An hour and 17 minutes. It says I've been online. Yeah, an hour and 20 minutes. So, and I haven't had any orders come in. And I did leave the house. I did an errand of an Amazon return to UPS. Took that in. All this time the app was on. And then drove over to my normal hotspot outside of this Wingstop where I usually just chill. So I brought some of my training work with me from this commission-only job, some of the training materials, and I will be podcasting. And if I don't get an order, I mean, I've already been online over an hour, but I wanted to basically be online till maybe like 2. But I can listen to these training videos while I'm driving. So I'm basically, I feel like if I just sit home and listen to it, that's kind of like a waste of time. So anything where if I'm still doing training stuff or whatever, I'd rather just be driving, in all honesty, or out potentially driving, because then it's like, at least I'm earning money instead of just sitting there. And I don't tend to get orders in while I'm in my house. I also, while I'm out, I need to call some of these, I'm still doing EPMS, Ellis Online, sites, and do I have 4 or 5 to call today? I've estimated if I call them each 3 times, starting around 2 o'clock or 2:30 or whenever I'm probably going to get, I'm probably going to be home by 3, and I can call them up till like 4:30. I was going to try earlier, but I was like, I wanted to start the commission only work at 9 o'clock on the dot, be, laptop logged in, open, 9 o'clock is going to be my start time. I really wanted it to be earlier, but I'm just so tired. I'm not sleeping good. I didn't sleep well. I was so pumped up about all this stuff. Like, I don't know, when it comes to like, there's something about like gig work and side hustles, especially when it's like new. I get pretty pumped up about it. I remember, I think the first time I experienced that, I was, watching some of Bia Hez's content and opened up one of my first Shopify stores. And I was like so excited, I was like, I'm gonna start this project and make some money. Like, I wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna get rich quick. It wasn't like that, but just the process of learning skills, implementing them, and then like tracking progress and stuff like that. I mean, it's a little bit of a bummer when it doesn't work out, but I like to get to the place of at least being able to track and then trying to problem solve a couple things at least, and then kind of like exhaust the options within my own education of what I know how to do, and maybe if I have extra money, like paying for some kind of help, to see if I can get some assistance. Usually it's very cheap assistance, but that's usually something that kind of pumps me up whenever I'm in like a new project kind of phase. I get pretty pumped up about it. And last night I was really just like having a moment. I was just like having a really hard time sleeping. I was, I did relax pretty much, like we did our normal Wednesday, movie and dinner kind of thing. or episode and dinner kind of thing. So after I did my errands yesterday, while I was driving and recording about the commission only job, how it went for that day, for that first day, um, I basically had an order while I was driving, and I basically had a I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. While I was driving, I basically had um um like what would I even call it? Um uh I had a um I don't know, like I had a phone call I had to take um for that role. Um and I'll continue when I'm actually continuing to talk about that role, but as far as like, yeah, sleeping, it was really hard. I was up like last night after I watched that show with my mom. Let's call it like 5:30 p.m. and then let's call it like 6:30 p.m. I was kind of like unwinding, relaxing, kind of like listening to some ASMR, doing some breath work, realizing that I really had some really high anxiety yesterday, and I probably had way too much caffeine yesterday as well, because I had a good workout in the morning, had some C4. Today I'm not rocking the C4. Today I'm rocking the V8, the V8 tea energy drinks. It's like juice and tea. Like I don't know if it's vegetable or fruit juice and tea. Yeah, I'm like, let me just give those C4 pre-workouts a break. I do not feel a jolt of energy today. I slept in. I got up at 6. Well, let's continue with last night. Like basically, I did relax from like 6:30 till maybe like 9 p.m. I was like, okay, I'm like unwinding. And then I was like problem solving all this stuff. And I'm going to kind of talk about it when I talk more about the commission only role. About kind of what my plan looks like. But yeah, I was like, man, I'm like, I've got this commission only role. Um, and it's going well so far. Like I like it. I'm not making any money yet, but I like at least it's better than just learning on Course Careers online. At least I feel like I'm kind of like understanding how it works, the logistics of it, and kind of mentally practicing, but I haven't really. I'm still learning enough about the company so that if I am talking to people, I can like talk to them. But we'll talk more about that. I don't want to like put too much of that information in other episodes. I'm trying to keep it all into at least this 2-week process until April 30th. I'm trying this job out until April 30th. Trying to manage my anxiety with it. I'm just gonna talk about it, but I'm just forcing myself to do these things. It's not like I'm happy. Like last night, I was like thinking, I was like, I'm really not into this. I was like, what am I doing? Like, what was I thinking? Like, why did I even post anything about this? Like, why have I even talked about it or told anybody I was doing this? Like, I'm kind of like feeling like I'm in like idiot mode about it. So, it's like, what kind of stupid decision was it to sign up for this stupid job? But I'm not under like an obligation. I do feel a little pressure because there are people who have a little bit of faith in me, and they're like, I think you'll be good at this. And I'm like, okay, I like to hear that, I'm like, and I think I'll be good at it too, but it's like, I've really got to get out of my head. But last night I was so in my head, and I was like problem solving mode from like 9 p.m. I was happy though. I was like, my anxiety had decreased, and then I got it like around 9 p.m. instead of just like, okay, time to unwind and sleep. I leaned into something where I was just like super pumped up, and I was like making all these decisions about how I'm gonna like, make this whole like plan about outreaching and everything, and I'm just like, man, like I should have just gone to bed on time. I was up late. Next thing I know, like after writing down all the notes for all that stuff while I was just kind of brainstorming, it was like 9 p.m. to like past 10 p.m., probably past 10:30, probably getting close to 11. I was like, I'm still not sleeping. Maybe it was 11. I may have fallen asleep around 11, woken up a little bit around that early 11 p.m. range, and then went, I was like, I still can't sleep. And I remember turning on that movie. I was watching a movie called The Gambler or whatever, and I know I was falling asleep in it because it wasn't making any sense, and there were like all these, I don't know, the soundtrack was weird. It kept going into these soundtracks, and then a lot of periods of time where there was no talking. So I was like, is it my Wi-Fi? Like, every time it went into music or went into like just like some silence, I was kind of like waking up. Like the talking parts kind of put me to sleep a little bit, but then I mean it's probably a good movie. I'm just saying I do that kind of stuff. I'm like, let me put this movie on that I don't really want to watch, so that I can go to bed. Because it was not working trying to lay there in silence. But I have learned that if I do want to sleep, sometimes I'm like, if I just turn off my phone and just knock out, I will just fall asleep. I'll start dozing off within seconds. So I know that like I do get some stimulation from listening or watching stuff at night, and I shouldn't. And but it was a discipline thing last night, and it was also just like I was like I liked the feeling that I was like, okay, I'm not feeling depressed or anxious, or I'm not feeling anything like negative. Like I was kind of having some kind of motivation, but maybe too much, like to a level that it was like too much, that it was like keeping me up. And that's common for me though. I do tend to get that way with these types of projects and things. But this is the first one that I've had that's not just me sitting in front of my computer. Like, it's the first one I've had where there's other people involved somewhat. So I calculated out the time, of how much money I want to make a day, how much time it's probably going to take, including Ubering. I don't know. I'm going to have to just solidify my schedule, but I'm trying to use this apartment gig, this Uber Eats gig, and then this other thing, this commission only. I'm considering it a gig, honestly. And I'm trying to use it all to see how much I can make. The first goal is make more than what I make in Uber. The second goal is, which I don't know, like I wouldn't even say Ubering I make $60 profit a day. I wouldn't even say I usually make that much per day. It's possible, but I don't, like, I'm like I said, like, I'm not Ubering all the time. I just told you when the last time was I Ubered. It's the 17th of April. I haven't Ubered since the 31st of March. So, I'm not doing it all the time. But, it's still there. It's something there where it's like if I do have a minimum amount that I want to make a day, I can just go out, drive, make money, and at least, even if this other job isn't making money, at least I have something that can make money. But I'm hoping that I have I'm hoping to use this as a secondary source of income. And here comes an order. All right, this one should be good. Accept. So I got a Subway order just came in. Okay, buddy. All right. So that's all I'm gonna say about Uber Eats, basically, and the EPMS Ellis Online. I still have to make the calls, and then I'm gonna be posting about this commission only. But I got my first order, so I'm gonna put in my mileage and everything while I'm here on my first order. 12:25 is when my first order came in, so this is crazy that I've been sitting online and haven't made any money till now. So let me see. I'll put the number 1. I think it was like $7. I usually just put the amount. Where did I start? 899 7. There's no way I only drove for, I don't know where I started. I want to call it 65. And then $7 is going to be Subway. It's supposed to be 12 minutes. It's more than $7. It's $7 and some cents. So I'm going to go do this one. And I'm going to post these episodes. And thanks so much for listening. Stay tuned.